got shot.
It was life and death.
Somebody's killed your son.
I think both sides have to come together.
When it comes to African-American men, we only get the mug shot.
You know, it's abnormal.
Was it really worth it?
You gotta be the tough guy.
Tim Jackson presents How to Kill a Black Man, available on Amazon Prime Direct. This is the No More OGs podcast. From controversial topics to creating financial freedom, we will talk to real people about real situations, providing real solutions. No celebrity endorsements, bringing you unfiltered discussions, dope interviews, and giving you the blueprint to create the culture that you will be proud of. So kick back, turn up the volume, and let's get to it. Here's your host, yours truly, Mr. Purpose on Demand, Mr. Retired at 37, Mr. Tim Jackson. What's going on? It's your man, Tim Jackson with the No More OGs podcast. I am your host, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today. You guys do me a favor, get the documentary, Tim Jackson Presents How to Kill a Black Man. It is live right now, available on Amazon Prime Direct. It's a documentary. It's going to change your life. Listen, man, my target audience is to change the lives of black men, ages 10 to 18, 18 to 24, 24 to whatever, man. We can't keep complaining about the culture not saving us or doing anything for us if we're not willing to do some things for ourselves. And we got to acknowledge where this culture isn't benefiting us, and that's okay. So I break it down from a systemic issue, from racism all the way down to how we perpetuate the system so that we can find a solution. So definitely get that documentary. It's on Amazon Prime. You can rent it for, I think it's $5, and you can buy it for $15. So go ahead and buy it for your boy, all right? I see y'all in all this name brand stuff. You can slide your boy $15, all right? Secondly, get the book. Tim Jackson Presents, it's the book, Real Dope, an in-depth comparison between real estate and the dope game. You guys, I don't make any money off this book. 100% of the proceeds go to Real Youth Mentoring. We are 8 years in the game. We were just profiled on Fox 4 DFW as well as Yahoo Sports. So we're making waves. This is going to be our year. Our goal is to raise $10 million this year. We want to get our own building. We want to have our own programs. We want to give out our own scholarships, and we will do it. But last thing, get the juicing ebook. Tim Jackson Presents 25 Easy Juices. Y'all probably can't tell in this jacket, but man, your boy is down. I'm down nearly 50 pounds. I'm about 8 pounds away from reaching my goal, and it's going to be a shirtless summer. Y'all going to get tired of me. But man, enough about the shirtless summer, man. Let me get this show started, man. I got my brother in here, man. This is my guy. I've known this brother, I want to say it's been 8 years now, maybe 9 years, probably about 9 years now. Met him through another influencer on social media who has a big name for himself, and me and this brother just connected. He's been on the show before, but we're going to talk mobile notary. We're going to talk his businesses. We're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about this culture. We're going to have a good time. So I'm going to present to some, and I'm going to introduce to others my brother, Mr. Andre C. Hatchett. What's good, man?
What's going on, T, man? Thanks for having me, brother. It's an honor to be here. No more OGs.
No more OGs, man.
I made it, mama. I made it.
Hey, listen, man. So did I. And y'all, look at this, man. I got the owner be on. This is exclusive, man. Y'all can't even buy this in the store yet. So I just got this right now. And y'all know me. I don't even wear green. And this got your boy looking like some money. You know what I'm saying? So it's finna go down, man. But listen, Dre, man, first things first, I always have to give you your flowers, man. We're literally here at your WeWork membership location, man. And Dre took good care of me. I reached out to Dre a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I'm coming to Atlanta, man. I'm on this journey, man. It's like me doing the fasting and the juicing has really kind of seeped into like a spiritual journey. Yeah. And mentally, I'm just like, I have more mental clarity than I've ever had in my life. Like, I'm literally in a position now to where I'm speaking things. I said today, I was like, last night I was talking to a good friend of mine who, I hadn't seen in over 20 years. We were stationed in the military together. And man, we just had a really good conversation. And I was speaking about something. I was like, man, I'm going to get a call tomorrow from somebody, about a situation, and we're going to resolve a situation, and we're going to move forward. And I promise you this morning, the first person that called me was that person. And I said, you know what, man, you got to really get in tune with yourself. But I say all that to say, man, when I was sitting at the house when I got back from Alaska, and something said, buy a ticket to Atlanta right now. I don't know what you're going for. Well, you'll figure out what you're going for when you get there. And I got online, I bought the ticket. And I reached out to you, and I reached out to some other people, and everything fell in line. But, man, I want to thank you so much for being such a hospitable host for me, man. Thank you for having me.
It's an honor, brother. It's a pleasure to return the favor because you go out of your way every and any time.
That's right.
I need you, so I'm honored to be able to pay you back in a small way.
Dre is the plug, man. I've mentioned your name probably more than any other name on my podcast. I drop your name more than anybody's. Because, everyone needs that person in their life that's the connector. We all have roles that we play. And as I've gotten older, Dre, man, I realized that we all need to learn how to play our position. Like, everybody wants to be the top dog. Everybody wants to call the shots. But I am learning, like, the last 365 days, I'm doing the exact opposite of what I've always done, starting on my birthday. And I'm learning that, man.
Which was fly, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yo, your party was fly. And the movie?
Oh, yeah. That movie is...
You don't talk about it enough. The movie, guys, is off. My man Louis crushed it, too.
He crushed it. He closed it out. When you think of terms of baseball, he was the Mariano Rivera.
Yeah.
He closed that thing out.
Dude, you were in a zone. You know what you're in? You're in a season of extreme alignment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where things are just clicking. You said clarity. You're just aligned as like,
yeah,
it's just flowing, and I respect it. It's glowing. It's radiating off of you.
It is, man. And it's funny because I was looking at I was just going through getting ready to kind of clear out some pictures, and I saw my podcast, and from about 4 months ago, and I looked at it, and I was like, man, I look different. And then I shot a podcast last week, and I went to pull up the video, and I was like, I don't even recognize this guy,
look at the
man.
old
Like,
picture.
who is this guy? But I put them side by side, and I shared it on social media. It was like, got like 400 likes, and people were just like, man, what are you doing? And it's like, man, I'm so on purpose right now. Like, I my mother getting sick was really an eye opener for me, because one, I realized that even though I know that we're all mortal, watching a woman who has been on her own since she was 15, 16 years old, always had a job, always worked her butt off, had a grueling job, working for the post office, carrying mail, and never been sick a day in her life. And then, she got sick, and it was just like she had to slow down, take a step back. But being there with her, it made me realize that, one, I need to get my health in order. Like, my mother, she didn't have like your traditional diabetes, heart disease type stuff, but she had injuries, what I'm saying, from her work. And it just beat her up so much. And just watching her, it made me realize, like, I gotta figure this out. Like, we all have an expiration date, and I don't know when my day's gonna come, but man, I wanna extend it as long as I can, physically and mentally and spiritually. And so that's why I'm on this journey, man. And I see my boy, you got on it too. I think David, Jalen's got on it, Marquise Robinson's, everyone's hopping on because we understand it.
There's a positive push that's been going on in our community. And we say the culture is trash, which it is, but it's about 80% that's trash. About 20% of us are really pushing it forward.
Yeah.
And it seems like all of our major players are in the gym and eating better.
Aren't they?
35, 33 plus, in the gym and eating better, and it's contagious.
It is.
You don't want to be the fat guy in the crew.
Wearing that spandex tank top.
That ain't it.
You're that tight ass. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I said once I get to my number, I'm gonna post my little spandex tank top, man. My wife said my bloomers. My wife used to roast me so bad. You putting on your girdle? Oh, my wife. My wife is 120 pounds soaking wet. Man. In the snow, man.
I'm a big fan of positive peer pressure, though, bro.
Yeah.
Not trying to mimic anybody, not trying to diminish anybody, but there is a thing called positive peer pressure where you don't want to get left behind when everyone's doing some positive stuff.
Bro, it's contagious. It's when you hang around people that ain't doing nothing with their life, you associate yourself with
That's
that.
contagious, too.
And then when you get around people that are doing something, it's like, it's not a competition, it's positive peer pressure. I never thought of it that way.
Positive peer pressure, bro.
I never thought of it that way, but like, I'll go back and look at I can tease you about this because you're on this journey, and you and I have very similar mentalities when it comes to working out. We'll go and we just go to the gym, and we walking around looking like, an MMA fighter, and then, life will hit, and then we
6 months,
we on the Sherman Clump side of the game, close the door, right? And then we put our mind back to it, and then before you know it, we're back slim, and it's just like, I think this time around is forever. I think this time around is setting the stage for the rest of our lives.
It's too hard to lose the weight.
It is.
Fam, I want a soda right now, drink water. But so like sodas was my thing. Like it's still a fight for me. Like that was soda, and late night eating was my biggest hindrance with gaining weight. It takes too much effort to go back. I was scared driving back from my gym to take the highway. Well, when I first started going to my workout classes, that's a Rich and Fit. I was scared to take the highway because I don't want to cramp up and be on the highway. So I took the scenic route home. I can't go back to that.
Bro.
I literally would have to watch how I'm driving because my body was cramping.
Bro, let's talk about that. So my biggest thing was soda and late night eating.
What kind of soda?
Coke. Straight Coke. It was
cold.
Straight Coca-Cola out the bottle, out the can, out the damn 2 liter. I drunk so much Coca-Cola because that's, growing up, my mom was a Pepsi drinker. And then my dad drunk Coke. And, I guess I just kind of adapted. Pepsi's a little sweet.
It is.
And Coke is a little, it's not. And so my dad drunk Coke, and I was like, you know what, maybe that's, we can have something in common, And so, man, I drink Coke, depending on what I eat. Now, certain foods, like, you have to get a grape soda or orange soda. But, bro, I was drinking 2, 3, 4 Cokes a day. I'm talking about the 20-ounce joints. Liver and kidneys is just like, no, And so, and late night eating, I would get up at midnight and go grab tacos. Tacos, you can buy tacos 24 hours where I live. And so you live in Atlanta, so I can only imagine. I'd probably be an extra 50 pounds higher.
Man, there's a diner that's not far from me. They're on Uber Eats. They always got a coupon, too, on Uber Eats.
What's the name of it? Well,
Midtown Diner.
So I went to Marietta Diner last night.
Okay. Similar, yeah. And they got these bomb-ass chicken fingers and mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
And they make them really well.
Fried cheese, yeah.
Fried cheese.
Bro, just think about that.
That was my thing.
Think about that. Fried cheese.
At 2 a.m.
And then you go to sleep. It's just sitting on your stomach. It makes you sluggish, man. I started studying how the food impacts your mental, though. Like mentally, man, I have so much mental clarity now because I'm not eating certain things. But, yeah, man, that was me eating tacos. We got Whataburger.
Yeah, yep.
Double Whataburger with cheese, extra pickles, extra mayo, no tomatoes, onions, add honey mustard. Give me a bigger Coke, easy ice. I want easy ice. I don't need all that ice in there. So what I did, Dre laughing his ass off. So what I did, Dre, was I was like, let me attack this one vice at a time. So I stopped drinking soda. And I bought a soda machine, a soda like where you can carbonate your own water. And so what I realized was I just like that strong fizz. When I asked myself one day, I said, why do I like Coke so much? Because it's so strong.
Fizz.
And so I got me a soda machine, and I went and bought like the little Crystal Light packages. And I was making like fruit punch soda, lemonade soda, green tea soda. And I was like, oh, this is really working. Genius. So then I was drinking that. And then after a while, that died off. Then I started eating fruit.
Yep.
I started researching like if you can eat like half a watermelon a day and you'll never have to drink water again. It's a crazy. Now I ain't no doctor, y'all. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. All right, talk to your doctor. But it was just what I found was like if you look at those tropical islands that don't have water sources, they all have fruit.
I'm so pissed off that watermelon's out of season. Bro. I can't wait till it comes back. I got addicted to watermelon this summer, bro. I got addicted. I would get 3, 4 at a time.
They have the little small watermelons, and then certain places in Texas you'll still see a few of them, but they're few and far between. But like the orange watermelon, the yellow watermelons on the inside, man, I was so addicted.
As long as it got seeds, I'm good.
Bro.
It gotta be seeded.
Well, you know what? I used to be like that. Like I would go to a place that has seeds, but the guy I asked him, I said, man, what's the difference between the two? Because when you get into the groups, they talk about, oh, it's gotta have seeds, don't eat it. And he was like, here's the thing. When you cross-pollinate and you make so many watermelons, eventually they become sterile. So you get the little white seeds, and that doesn't mean that they've been like, germinated. All that shit you say. He said it's just they're sterile. Yeah, and he said, so I would rather you eat one of those than not eat one at all. And I started doing research on them. I was like,
that's a good point.
Okay. So then I started researching it, and then I started talking to farmers. They're like, yeah, a lot of people think it's like mass-generated government stuff, but it's like anything. If you're mating dogs, eventually the dog is going to become that fifth or sixth line is going to be sterile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he's going to have 7 puppies. You know what I'm saying? That can't have babies. But no, I feel you on that. And I said this watermelon season, I'm going to just start juicing and freezing. Like, I might buy me a deep freezer and just buy a bunch of them and deep freeze them.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, man. So we got on the health kick. Mentally, man, you seem like you're in a much better place.
Yeah, man. I feel peaceful. And when you eat better, your mind is clearer.
Talk on it, man.
Your mind is clearer. It just changes everything about your aura and your energy. And one more thing that got me real serious on the health kick, I was at InvestFest past August.
Yeah.
And I got my boy TK. He's one of my gym coaches. So everywhere they go, they do push-ups. In public, they just do push-ups.
Yeah.
And I saw her, hey, man, let's do some push-ups. And they were like, all right, let's do it. And I was with a woman, shout out to Keisha. And she was surprised I could do 25 push-ups.
Oh, wow.
Like, I didn't think you could do that many push-ups. She wasn't trying to be mean, but I was offended. Like, you're surprised I could do 25 push-ups? I was like, all right.
You better than me.
I joined the... I
was in that mud. I get the twin, my shoulders start hurting. I was that bad.
So I joined the gym that they have, Rich and Fit, because I was working out on my own, but it just wasn't enough. I needed an extra level. You know, how we hire coaches, how we coach people. I needed coaching. Which Anthony Harslow, I shout out to Anthony, he said, yo, Jerry, like, why don't you just get a coach? And I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I go to the gym. He's like, dude, like, what are you doing? I was like, you know what, you're right. So, yeah, man, I've been on it with them. I've been on it on my own. And here's one thing about it. I let it be a battle. A battle? I didn't try to rush it. 3 months, I'm going to be famous, probably going to be 9. It's probably going to be 9 months. But I didn't rush it. I didn't let it be this thing that had to be done overnight. I said I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to mess up, but I'm on it. I am on it, and I'm going to stay on it. I don't know if you want to pull up the push-up bar things that I got there.
Yeah. He actually, so as soon as I got here, he's like, man, if you want to do some push-ups, I brought some push-up bars. I was like, my man, no, that's funny you say that because my Achilles heel before, why I couldn't really stick to it, is I set unrealistic expectations. And shout out to my sister, man. Like we started the journey together. She actually started before me and lost a lot of weight. But she hired a fasting coach. She says, Tim, I want to gift you 90 days with this fasting coach. He's going to teach you how to fast the right way. He's going to teach you what to eat, what not to eat. He's going to give you some regimens to do detoxes, like detox your kidney, detox your liver, detox your gastro, your GI tract. And he's going to walk you through the scientific, natural way to do it. And bro, and so the first thing he told me to do is don't weigh yourself every day. He said, that's good. Yeah, he says you're going to be discouraged because you're going to go work out the first day and you're going to drop 5 pounds. And you're like, yeah. And then the next day you might drop 1 or 2, and then by the end of the week you may gain 2. He said, and what happens is when people gain those 2, they give up.
It's discouraging.
Because you're starving yourself. You're not really doing what you're supposed to do. You're not really following a true regimen. And so when you don't see a gain or you see a loss, it's like, man, forget this. I might as well eat a cheeseburger. So I actually weighed myself, and I put my scale up in the closet, and I just only weigh myself once a month. And man, when I tell you that weight was falling off, bro, dude, it was falling off.
You're down 45 pounds?
I'm down 45 pounds. I think I started at 247, 248, and I'm trying to get to 195. Love it. And so I think the last time I weighed myself, I was, before I came here, I was at 206. Okay. But I didn't work out the morning before I came. And so typically if I work out, I'm hovering around 204, 203. And so, yeah, man, I'm there, and it's slow motion, man. It's been more than 90 days. It's become more of a lifestyle than it is a fad. And to the point where I'm not even hungry. Like my only thing that I've eaten today was that banana you gave me at 1 o'clock. I went downstairs to the little cafe, and I was just like, none of this stuff is appealing, man. Even last night, I just got an egg white omelet and a spinach egg white omelet. That's it. Wow. And they were like, what are you doing, man? You don't want no fries? You don't want? I'm like, no, just spinach egg white omelet. I shouldn't be eating this late anyway.
You winning, brother. I respect it.
Yeah, man. So you got on your health kick now. Tell me how it's working in your business, and tell me how it's working from the standpoint of your energy and stuff like that.
People would rather buy from a fit person than a fat person.
Say that again. I did studies on that. Go ahead.
People would rather buy from a fit person than a fat person, but they won't say it. A lot of it is subconscious. But I actually had a friend who said it a few years ago. I'm not going to say who. He was talking about somebody who's a public figure. He says, Andre, I won't buy from this person, even though they're kicking real game, but they're obese. I can't take them seriously because they're obese. I never heard anyone say that before. I was like, damn, I wonder if anyone said that about me. And I said, yo, I get it.
There's no discipline there. And we're not shitting on anybody.
No.
But that's just statistical. I Googled like the correlation because I heard someone say that. And then I asked myself, Tim, who do you pay attention to? Who do you follow? Like when I think about some of the people in entertainment that I follow, like
they're probably fit.
50 Cent.
Fit.
A-Rod. You look at LeBron James. LeBron James is in the best shape of his. I mean, I could only imagine.
He's around our age.
He's our age, bro. But he's playing professional basketball against 19-year-olds, and he's still dominating at that level. And shout out to Vince Carter. Vince Carter played for forever.
He played 20 years too, yeah.
But he didn't dominate like LeBron. He'll say it. You know?
Yeah, he's a phenom.
He's just a beast. And it's just like, and then even after that, like I came out here and met with a guy in Atlanta. He did a pitch for me about getting my documentary on Netflix. Wow. And he walks up and he's just, very slim, muscular boxer build guy.
You
and I
took
was
him seriously.
I took him serious. He didn't get no money from me. But I took him serious, man. So you're right about that. People buy from people that's fit. In fact, and men, we tend to respect people more when they work out.
Yeah. So when you feel better, you just think better.
That's a fact.
So I might be thinking of an idea that I wouldn't have thought of before, and I'm going to act on the idea and make more money. So it's not just I work out more, I'm losing weight, I make my money. It's the thought process that my mind is on, the energy my mind is on, attracts more money. Because people like people with great energy too. And people like to see people in the gym. So I have footage of me in the gym. I have it on YouTube, so my email list.
Yeah, man.
It attracts a good conversation.
And somebody hit me up and was like, man, why are you thirst trapping, man? And I'm just like, because I wear my they call the hoochie daddy shorts when I work out, but what's funny is that, I have clothes that I bought 4 years ago, and I told myself eventually I'll be able to fit these tank tops. I was always really super self-conscious about putting on a tank top because my build type was like, I grew, man boobs and stuff. Like when I lose the weight, they go away. But when I got them, when I got the weight on, man, I look like a bad bitch, up top. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this is just me and my family scoring. Like, it takes my little sister to talk about my man boobs. Like, she shamed me into getting, And so then, most boys are built like their moms and their legs and their hips. So my homeboy, he made this joke one time, and I laughed, but I think about it like, damn. He said, if you see a big booty ass girl, she gonna have a big booty ass son. And I was like, oh shit, I start thinking about it. So, the bigger I got, the more I start kind of getting wide. My wife said, all right, man, if you get some hips, I'm gonna have to clown you. And so I start losing that weight, and I start noticing my legs start toning, my butt start going away, my chest start rounding out, and I felt more confident to put on that tank top. I felt more confident to put on those shorts. And it's like, hey man, if you call it thirst trapping, I'll thirst trap, but that's my confidence.
I don't like to talk about married people's business.
Yeah.
If you want to chime in,
I'll chime in.
There are other benefits for a man to be in shape as well that women enjoy.
Yeah.
And it happens pretty quickly. The benefits when you start eating and drinking right. And as we get older, you have to work out more to keep things flowing.
To keep that flowing. So that blood flow.
There's literally, I've never seen a bad reaction to getting in shape. I've seen zero downside, bro.
There's a guy who's online. His name is Cali Muscle. You ever follow that guy?
Yeah.
So Cali Muscle, man, I remember when I first started doing this workout, like back in 2008-9, he was really big because he was a bodybuilder. And man, he was super big. And so I always thought I wanted to be buff. Not that big, but and then through the nutritional coach, he explained to me like, that's just inflammation. He said, that's why when you stop working out, it converts to fat so quick because it's literally just inflammation. And so the guy, Cali Muscle, had a heart attack.
Yeah, he did.
And he started, now he's a juicer. He only
on
eats
watermelon
fruit.
too, right?
He's huge on watermelon. But all he does is fruit right now. And so I actually interviewed the Fruit Up guy. Shout out to my man Fruit Up, man. He came on, he lost over 100 pounds in a very short period of time just eating fruit. So I don't know if I'm that disciplined yet. Like right now, I'm just eating raw fruits and vegetables, and I sprinkle in some things sometime because I'm trying to get to my weight goal. But eventually, I learned with my blood type that I have to eat certain proteins. Like I need certain fish and meat because like right now, I'm freezing my ass off. Like it's cold everywhere, but apparently my blood type needs certain proteins. So you start learning a lot about yourself.
Learn more, yeah.
Yeah. So that's just a good segue, man. So let's segue into the business, man, because Andre has a notary business school, and man, I send everyone that I possibly know to your notary school. I've actually taken the class, and I actually got my notary license through your class. But man, you're providing an opportunity for people to be entrepreneurs, small business owners, or even large business owners, because you teach them how to scale. You've taught some crazy number of thousands of people this. How many? What's that number again?
It's, from what I can count, over 30,000.
Over 30,000 people how to get a notary stamp. I know if you've watched Andre on my platform, you've heard this story, but some of you all are new to the platform. Like, Andre, explain like what the notary business is and how you got into it.
All right, so I got into it. My boy Ricky Simon, who actually just moved to Georgia from Pennsylvania. Shout out to Ricky. We have mutual friends. At the time, I didn't know Ricky like that, but I knew he was. They said that he shows up somewhere, he makes $75, $200. He's there for like 5-10 minutes. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what is this thing? So I shadowed Ricky. I saw him do it. I'm one of those, if I see you do it, it just becomes like magic. Oh, okay, I can do this. I can do this thing. And he drove around. We drove around all day. I bought him lunch, and I just said, yo, I'm doing this thing. So I got my license. I failed the first test, passed the second test, got licensed, and I became a notary public. And the money comes in to where we travel to the clients. That's where the mobile part comes in, where we charge a premium fee to go to their house or their office or wherever to notarize their stuff. And so that was, I thought it was 16 years, but Ricky said, no, Dre, it's like 18 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
you wasn't counting that OJT time, huh?
So my 20-year anniversary for being a homeowner is next year, and my business anniversary is the next year after that.
That's dope.
So, yeah, that was it, bro. That was it, man. I was making.
How old were you, man?
I was 24.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I was making $100 a day at the job at that time, and my first notary appointment, which was under 20 minutes, I made $47, and it's been on from there.
It makes sense. You know, it's funny how, because Marquise just talked about that in the last interview, how he was a teacher and he was making $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
And he said on his first deal he made $15,000, which was essentially, more than half of what he made in a year. And a lot of times, I always tell people, man, don't chase money because you'll always be running from something. But if you set your purpose, the money will follow you, right? It'll find you. And so, he said even as a teacher, he said, I always wanted to be an educator. So now he teaches people how to do it. And so you came from education. You were working in the education system, and now you're teaching damn near 100,000 people how to do this thing.
I work with special needs kids, and I coach youth basketball. So I've always had that big brother mentor thing about me, right? I've always been that guy. Even on the block that we grew up on, I was big brother to the kids on the block. Yeah. So now it's just full circle where I'm just teaching what I know.
Man. So let's segue then, because as an educator, as a teacher, as a person who really wants to pour into your community, into your people, which you are one of those guys that you love your people. You're unapologetically in love with black people, and you want to see us do better. You want to see us achieve. You want to see us reach heights and levels that we're capable of doing. And many times it's just not having an example of what to do, right? And I'm that way too. I think that's what attracted us to each other. Like,
yeah, definitely.
We understood that there was more to that stereotype of what we are. And a lot of people, whenever you start talking about accountability, they start, well, you just want to act white. You want to do, it's like, no, I'm not trying to act white. Trust me, I'm on the record for having an entire Keller Williams leadership team quit because we was discussing black issues and racial issues, and they just didn't want to have the conversation, so they all left the office, like literally quit. So, yeah.
You wrote a whole book on how not to sell drugs and buy real estate.
Yeah, man.
If anyone challenges you on your blackness, real dumb problem.
Real estate and dope.
Come on, man.
Amazon. But no, all jokes aside, it's like there's this thing within the black community that we call culture. Yeah. That is killing us.
It's garbage.
And I call it the culture that kills.
You're the first person to publicly call out the culture that I know.
The culture that kills. And it's like, the foundation of the culture is get high, get drunk, fuck bitches, kill niggas. And
in that order.
In that order. And don't get it twisted. Like, I love some good trap music. I'm in the home of trap music. I love to listen to some trap music, but as the cherry on top, not the cake. And too often in the black community, we treat it like it's real life. I treated it like it was real life in a period of my life. I was in the club knocking heads off like Lil Jon was telling us to do. I was in the club fighting in the parking lots, doing stuff, and then my friends evolved from fighting in the clubs to doing other things.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I'll never forget, I tell the story all the time. When I wrote my book, a friend of mine sat down with me and we kind of went through some stuff. I did the OJT, if you will, and kind of followed him around like you follow the notary guy. And I broke down, I said, bro, after we break down how much time you take selling crack, how much, you know, the occupational hazards, not having any insurance, needing an attorney when you get jammed, bro, you make $8 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget what he said. He says, man, Tim, I'm proud of you. You're doing your thing in real estate, but man, I'm really good at selling dope and pimping hoes. And he went to prison like 6 months after my book came out, shortly after. Damn. But it's like that culture, it's addictive.
Yeah.
And we really are creating a new wave of people who are like, fuck that culture. And we not cooning in the process.
No.
Yeah, we not like, fuck that culture. Come on over here with white man, and we get no, we're not doing that.
You don't have to be a thug to be cool. Which is why I hate when they use the term real and correlate that with street.
Street shit.
I consider real a stand-up guy like us. Right?
Yeah.
Like you're married with kids. I'm dating. Love to be married one day with a family.
Hey, Dre in the streets. No, I'm joking with you.
Looking for a relationship.
He's really not in the streets.
Looking for a relationship.
Yeah.
But we're the new cool.
We are.
And you know, so you guys might not know this, but I try to keep Tim as a public figure. He doesn't really like being a public figure like that.
I'm embracing it now.
He's embracing it now.
So I'm on my 365. I'm actually writing a book about this. So get ready for it. But for when I turn 40 in July, I said for 365 days, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I've always done to see what the results going to be.
Beautiful.
And I'm telling you, man, the results have been life-changing because I've gotten out my way. I'm embracing what I was born to do. And man, like all that stuff those seeds you planted, you know, for years, like Tim, get out front, Tim, you know, like I just remember you thrusting me in these positions and I was so uncomfortable, man. But I was such a natural at it.
Fam, like if there could be a president for black people, it would be you. If I could pick one, it would be you. You would be the president for
my fellow black people. Look at it.
My president's Tim. So I'm happy to see you out there. So yeah, so I was telling a friend, 80% of the culture is garbage. I think 80% of us are done. Done. I think that number can sway a little bit up or down depending on what you're watching. And that's okay with me.
Less of our kids want to be thugs now. Like in my son's school, like they fight and act tough, but it ain't like we were. Like we were out there. They were selling crack in my junior high school.
I got thrown out of school. I got thrown out of high school and college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I could have went to prison. Yeah. I don't talk about it publicly, but yeah, I could have went to prison.
Because we don't embrace that bullshit.
We don't embrace it.
I probably could have, you know, a top 10 podcast if I talked about all the shit.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? But
if you talk about banging chicks and street shit, you are lit on the podcast.
Yeah, that's what all these old rappers are talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know, they talk about, and I'm not shitting on anybody, but it is what it is, you know. You know, they give you those warm, fuzzy feelings at the end, but they talk about a bunch of nigga shit. Yeah. And then it's like we perpetuate it. And it's like our culture, our society has become so obsessed with what celebrities are doing every single day, and they're just regurgitating shit from the 80s and the 90s. And it's like, oh, did you hear when such and such said back in the 90s? It's like, who gives a fuck what happened in 1997 with Puff Daddy and Mace? I don't give a shit. Like, we are drowning right now. We are literally treading water, and the tides are rising, and we're being replaced, and we're being overlooked. Black men, we are in a terrible position. We are in last place in every negative statistical category, and no one seems to give a damn because they've lumped us in with men altogether. So we just kind of get the shit end of the stick. And if you say that out loud, you can't say anything out loud, because if you say, well, hey, we need to do better, shut up, you hate women, or you shaving this, or you doing this. And so most black men just say, fuck it, I'm just gonna talk about sports all day.
Yeah. We don't like accountability. As a race, we don't like accountability. We look at it as being attacked. Most times we look at it as being attacked. But somebody has to do it. Somebody has to challenge the norm, the societal norm. And I'm at peace with that. So I work with the willing. If someone's willing to change and to improve, I'm willing to help. Happily willing to
I
help.
work with the willing. I've you know what? I've probably heard that term, but I've never heard it the way you said it because I have this this Captain Save-A-Ho mentality where I be trying to save the wrong person. I convince the wrong people to do the right thing, and it's just funny. Like, it took my mom years ago to say. She said, when I was in dating. Early in the game, she says, "You always seem to go after the damsel in distress." She's like, "You always want to get with a chick because your boy Tim, man. Let's not get it twisted. Any woman that's done ever came in my life has left with an additional 0 added to her net worth and a lot more weight in gold. Not because I was tricking, but because I always put them on so much game and brought out their every woman that's ever come into my life." Yeah, your boy is the prize, right? But I tended to go for the damsel in distress, and that translated over into my business life. I was trying to save people that didn't want to be saved, like people who genuinely like the fuck shit.
Yeah.
And it's like you gotta meet them where they are. And last night I was having dinner with a friend, and she said, "Tim, I'm gonna be real with you." And she said, "Shut up and don't talk as I'm talking, because you need to hear this." She says, "Your problem is you want to be in control. You want everyone to be like Tim. Wow. You want everyone to do things your way. And the fact of the matter is, if the world was like you, the world would be a very fucked up place." And man, I was sitting there like, I couldn't grab my titties no more because I lost all this weight.
No more man boobs.
Man, she tore my ass up, and I got off. Whenever we finished our conversation, man, I called my wife and talked to her about a lot of shit, and it was just like, she's right. Like, at some point in the game, you got to take your hands off of a situation and let people grow, because guess what? People took their hands off me.
You got to let people grow. And we want to help who we want. We want to change who we want to change. Ooh. The hardest people to change are your childhood friends and family members. You're better off meeting business friends and becoming business people and becoming friends with them. That's how we met.
That's how we met, and we've made a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money
together in between time. Like me, you. I always shout out you and Erica Williams. Erica Williams has made me so much money.
I believe it.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably a few hundo at least.
Erica Williams, I call her E the plug. E has made me so much money, and she got me out of my comfort zone. Like, I always wanted to sell real estate nationwide, and I wrote that on my goal book and in my purpose, and I would say it every day. And then I met her through you, and you put me in contact with so many people, getting on platforms with other influencers where I went and spoke and traveled. But E Money. Like, literally the connections I made through her and you, like, I've made bread off of those connections. Like, people buying houses from all over the nation in Dallas.
That's what it's about.
So you're right, man. Those friends and family members, they don't see Tim Jackson, broker, former zoning commissioner, author, documentary. They say little Timmy.
Little Timmy from the block.
From the hood, Tim. Old Slick. My military people, old Action Jackson, old Slick, right? They don't see me as a business owner because they know me in that other light. And then as a result, they don't trust me in that new light because all they know is the old me. And that's not personal.
No, it is what it is. It is. I've learned to accept human behavior.
Talk on that. Unravel that. I
am totally at peace. So humans do certain things that humans do. Most people do the same stuff. I'm at total peace with that. I don't need to convince them to see things my way or the better way. You're probably going to do what's best for you. You're probably going to do what you want to do, even if it's not best for you.
First law of nature, self-preservation.
And I'm at peace. And I think what you said about my energy is seeking more alignment and being at peace with a lot more stuff. And I have no desire to control anybody. I'm going to help who I can help. And I like who I am.
Bro, I used to be a czar. I'm a dictator. I don't know if that was the military in me. I used to tell my son, this is a dictatorship, not a democracy. Like, I literally would use that phrase. This is not a democracy. This is a dictatorship. You're going to do what I say. And it's like, now as he's getting older, I'm realizing that style is going to create resentment. Because I think about the relationship me and my dad had and how he was the dictator. It was his way or the highway. And if you didn't do it that way, it was upside your head. You know what I'm saying? And so while, that's not the philosophy in my house as far as upside your head, the philosophy is, it's not going to be comfortable for you if you don't do it my way. I have a lot of ways to manipulate situations in my favor. And and I'm coming to learn like that shit just don't work. It's a new audience, man. You got to adjust to the times,
Adjust to the times.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Someone's 40. They have no money saved.
Yeah.
They have a solid 9 to 5. What could they do to be able to even semi-retire by 47?
First things first, what I did was I went through what I call increase by decrease. I really need to get that patent. A lot of times when you're broke, the first thing you do is you go get another job. That's what that's what we do. Or another occupation, whether it be selling real estate, getting into mobile notary, whatever. But for me, I didn't have the time because I was working. I think I was in school at the time, and I had a small child. My son was 2 years old. So being a full-time dad meant everything to me because I didn't, I had a stepdad who's a great dude. I'm not going to take anything away from Charles. But I didn't have that relationship with my dad like that. And I said I always wanted to be present in my son's life, right? And so for me, it was like, I can't exchange dollars for hours or hours for dollars. So I did increase by decrease. I went through my budget, and I identified everywhere in my budget where I was overspending. We'll start with fast food. My eating budget was like $800, $900 a month I was spending on eating out. And I wasn't eating fancy food. I was literally going to a fast food restaurant 3 times a day, spending $10 per meal.
That adds up quick.
I lived in my own house, and I had a new Lexus. Why did I have a new Lexus? Because I went through a midlife crisis. I needed me a new car. And let's not get it twisted. Like, I love the Lexus brand. You're gonna always see a Lexus in my driveway.
I have one.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I have one for the past decade.
Yeah. I think me and you have the same taste in cars,
Yeah.
And so I bought a new one, and I had a new job at the time. I had my house, but I was not keeping any money. So I took my car to a CarMax, and I sold it back. And so I think they shorted me like $8,000.
Okay.
And because I had great credit, I took out a personal loan, paid it off, and instead of paying, $800 a month in the car note and insurance, it got down to like $250 a month. So now that's a difference of, $550, $600. Right. So now I went from $600 putting back that to now I'm also not eating out. I'm going grocery store shopping. So I rounded up. I went from spending $900 to $300 a month. That's when you can eat off $300 a month at a grocery store. And so that's 6 and 6. So that's $1,200. Right there. That's a part-time job.
That's a part-time job.
So then I said, well, if this shit works with the car and with eating, I wonder what it would do with my piece of property that I live in. And so I refinanced my house. I went from at the time, I think it was a 5.5% interest rate, and I got down to like a 3.25. And it lowered my interest rate about $300 a month. So I went from paying $1,200 a month to $900 a month, and then I rented it out for $1,200 a month, $1,300 a month. So that's like a $600, $700 swing, because I reduced it, and then I raised the property value up. So now you talk about that $600 swing, that's another $600. That's $1,800 a month. You follow what I'm saying? So now, within a period of 3 months, I'm already at $1,800 a month, and I took that money and paid off all my debt. I snowballed it and just got out of debt super fast. And I have a debt elimination course, links in my bio, check it out. I paid off like $15,000, $16,000 worth of debt in a year and a half. And so then once I paid off that debt, now you have a snowball. With me, it was like $2,500 a month that I'm bringing in, netting, simply from just not doing the dumb shit. And I was able to put that into my businesses, and then the rest was history. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it took some time. It took me about a year to I would say about a year and a half to get all the debt and all that stuff going. But once that well-oiled machine was well-oiled, it rolled by itself.
Staying home could be a game changer for some people. Some people don't need a job. They need to just stay home and spend less money. So sometimes that's their job.
Yeah, that's it, man. And I was outside. I was newly single. Man, I was in the best shape of my life. And you know how it is when you're newly single, man. You put it on social media, and it's like, you change your little relationship status or whatever. Or they stop seeing you post.
I didn't know you liked me. You should have let me know this 3 years.
Man, man, they were throwing that thing at your boy like it was some wild times, but it was one of those things where that adds up too. Because if now you're going out on dates every weekend, or in my case, I was going out to eat during the week and kicking it, and just, believing that BS, men have to pay for everything. No, fellas. No, man. You know, chivalry and equality can't coexist.
Oh.
Chivalry and equality can't coexist, man.
50-50 for Tim.
Yeah, man. Chivalry and equality can't coexist. Now, I'll open your door. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what a gentleman does. But chivalry and equality, y'all forget what them other cats talking about. I'm a simp, or you a man that don't pay for nothing. Listen, man. Listen. I feel that. Well, it's not. I feel that women make, especially in the black community, women make more than black men on average. You know, because they're the ones with the degrees. We raise our women and we call our boys. So the women are in such better financial shape. And I'm not saying that it's got to be always 50-50. Like, I'm going to take care of this, you take care of that.
Yeah.
I always base everything from my standpoint on one income, the lesser of the two. But, you know, my first day with my wife, man, I was like, man, we're going to have to split this, you know, even though she didn't pay. You know what I'm saying? But throughout the years, man, I would date women that didn't need me. And that way we got so much more value.
It was an easier transition.
It was an easy transition because it was like, shoot, you know, they would bring me something to eat from time to time. They would pay, you know, and that was hard for me to do. But Dre,
you get used to it.
You get used to it, and then you know when it's time for me to reciprocate, I got that. Don't worry about that. You know, keep that paycheck this time around. You know, go buy yourself something nice and it pays off.
It's fair exchange, no robbery.
But we talking about everything today, man. Hey, chivalry and equality cannot coexist. I'm gonna get some hate mail from the women, but did I tell you my story about that, Dre?
Type your comments below.
Type your comments below. So I was working at Bank of America, actually, on a special project. So we'd have these meetings every day. Every day we had a managers meeting, and there was only 30 chairs, and we had 35 managers. And a group of my peers, these young ladies, I still keep in touch with them to this day. They'd always walk in late, and so the men would get up and give them a chair.
Yeah.
And so we took these, what they call CBTs, like, you know, career-based training. Like you'd have to do like, you know, equal opportunity, sexual harassment, you know, workplace equality. And so we had taken one that day, and it was like, you can't treat a woman or a man different based on their sexual, you know, them, you know, being a woman. Like, you know, a woman has to get equal opportunity in the workplace. So I was like, oh, I'm ready to put this on display. So they walk into the meeting, Dre. And so it's 4 of them that they were always late. And then so I was sitting right by the door. So they walk in, kind of did their normal thing, still wait on the men to get up. And I was like, don't get up. And it's like, what you mean don't get up? Y'all men ain't gonna give us your seats. I said, according to the CBT that we had to take today, I can't give you my seat because by doing so, I'm treating you like less of a person. I'm saying that you're incapable of, one, showing up on time for a meeting, but 2, standing. And when I tell you, the entire room erupted, man. Even the senior managers was just like, oh my God, this dude is nuts. I said, so really, I don't want to get rolled up for discriminating. And they were like, Tim, you ain't crap. You know what I'm saying?
Just try to be fair.
I said, I'm going to be crap in this seat, you know. And then we laughed it off, but I didn't get up.
Yo, I did not expect that one.
I didn't get up. And then, and so when I've done that a couple of times, I went to an event. My one of my clients had a book signing, and there was some, and I know they're gonna watch this. And these girls, you know how they have on their 3-inch heels, and boy, about an hour, boy, they look like they. And so it was me and my wife were sitting there, and she's like, Tim, you ain't gonna get up. I said, unfortunately, you know, my wife has a seat, so you know, if it was my wife standing, you know, I would definitely get up. But I said, you know, chivalry and equality can't coexist. I've got a bad knee, so am I supposed to say? Y'all don't think I ain't shit. Here I'm out here trying to teach men, boys how to be men, and I won't give up my seat. But you know,
donate to a youth mentor.
Yeah, but you don't. But you can't. It's a double standard, and that's how it is in this culture. Like, you know, we can't keep screaming, get high, get drunk, fuck bitches, kill niggas, and then get on the platform and say we need to stop killing ourselves. Like, I hate when I see a rapper do that, specifically some of the main rappers. Like, I think there was a rapper, I'm not going to say their name because I don't do it for the clout, but there was a big, well-known rapper with a big beard. He did a video like, guys, we need to come together and stop killing one another. And I just went in the comments and I said, does that mean that you're going to stop performing your music about killing black people? Damn. Asking for a friend. And you'd be surprised how many people came in there and attacked me.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, you a hating ass nigga.
Yeah, of course.
You just mad because he got money. And it's like, no.
You got money.
I'm just mad. I'm just calling out the fact that every song that this guy has is about getting high, getting drunk, fuck bitches, killing niggas. And then when somebody gets killed, he says we need to stop.
Pick a side.
Pick a side. Draw a line in the sand. Or woke rappers that perform their old music. Like, you can't be a woke rapper talking about how effed up the game is and how we can do better, and then you running low on your money, so you go back and perform those get high, get drunk, for bitches, kill niggas songs. Like, which one is it?
Which one is it?
Because that doesn't work in any other field.
Or say nothing. Or I don't think every public figure has to be an activist.
Say it again, bro.
Or a public activist. There were a lot of people back in the day who said, "Yo, I got my white girl, but I'll give y'all money though. I'm gonna pay someone's bill. I'm help single mom with some food."
Wasn't like Harry Belafonte one of those guys who like financed the civil rights movement?
The civil rights movement.
Yeah.
So I miss the day where I don't think all these people need to be talking for us. You can go rap. I do think you should help in some way financially if you got it like that. But yeah, it's too much going on, and these rappers are going. So I'll say a name. You don't have to say a name. D1. All these rappers going at him. I'm like, yo, who did he bother?
Let's talk about that. I thought he was clout chasing.
I don't think so.
Let's talk about me and Louis McClain had a really good dialogue on it. So
Shout out to Louis.
You go first.
So I know him personally. We're not friends, but we're cool. We're cool.
I met him at one of the
We have
conferences.
mutual friends. Julian and him are friends. I don't think he's cloud chasing. I did think he picked a moment and made it a thing.
Right.
But I think, so I consider cloud chasing if you don't believe in what you're doing. I think he believed in everything he's saying, but he knew how to maximize the moment.
Louis, if you would have said it like that, I probably would have folded. Because me and Louis had a very good discussion on this. But that's real. You said, I don't think it's clout chasing if you believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
I can respect that. I can respect that. I'm gonna tell you why I thought he was clout chasing.
Okay.
Right? And I've met D1, very nice guy,
very I like
genuine
him a lot.
guy. You could tell that he genuinely loves, but he's done songs with some of these guys before, right?
Okay.
And it's like he picked the moment to make it a movement, and it was just like every day.
When
like,
his album's coming out,
that
too.
was all, when his album's coming back. That's all he talked about, and it's like, where were you when you were doing a song? You did a song with The Game, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say it was with The Game. It was one of those guys he did a song with, somebody popular.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so it's okay to do a song with them when it's time to come up, but then now when you're trying to like get into a lane. So my thing was, I get what he was saying. I don't disagree with him at all, but I just felt like he was cloud chasing. I felt like, in his lane, whether it's Christian rap or non-secular rap, like people just don't listen to it. Like not nobody. That's a niche audience.
It's a niche audience.
It's a niche audience, and it just doesn't hit the mainstream. If Rick Ross started talking about, making the world a better place, people would stop listening to Rick Ross. If a lot of these guys who are tough, if Jeezy, some of these tough rappers that we grew up listening to, if they start talking about, look at their album, the songs that's talking about buying real estate or doing the numbers or doing the right thing, they don't do numbers.
They don't do no numbers like
because
that.
Black culture embraces the nigga shit so much that we've become accustomed to it, and other cultures see it as entertainment. And when you go to those concerts, you don't see black people on the front row. We be wailing the nosebleeds, or we be at the house. But the people that's financing that movement don't look like us, but we're the ones that will die for. We standing on business. The average person learned this business in the 8th grade. Think about that. The average person identifies who they're going to be the rest of their life in middle school. Damn. And most people join gangs in middle school. Most people become aggressive, whatever they are in middle school. So you're telling me you're a 45-year-old man standing on 8th grade business? Like you literally learned this concept in the 8th grade. What are you doing? So that's why I respect what he's doing, but I just felt like it was cloud chasing.
Okay.
And that's just my take, and I don't have anything against the brother. I think I know people that know him personally. I won't say their names, but he seemed like a great dude. He was very nice to me, very warm, very approachable, but I thought he was cloud chasing.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What can be done to improve the black community? I'll go first. I think people can be honest about their relationships. So you meet somebody, you're dating, you're married, whatever, you know what you're going to get.
Honesty is the best policy.
You have complete honesty. You poly, you got a side chick, whatever. It's honest. Let the person decide on what what works for them.
Fellas, you'd be surprised what women would agree to if you just told them up front.
You want to go there? Women don't like public shame. So if it's not public and you wanted an extra relationship and you were open about it and you're paying most of the bills in the crib, there's a lot of leeway that can be sought after.
Women, you'd be surprised what men would go after if you wasn't trying to sell him a fairy tale or get him to buy into yours. You'd be surprised. And that's one thing I would say in relationships that anyone I've ever dated, I was always super honest. You know, like, hey, this is what it's going to be. I don't want to be tied down. I want this and that. If you're looking for a boyfriend, I'm not him. Or when it's time to be that, let's be that.
Yeah.
But a lot of men lie to women, and I agree with you with the honesty. What else you got?
Buy 2 pieces of property.
Oh, yeah, let's get it.
Max out your Roth IRA. I think we can start with that.
So what was the question one more time?
What could be done to improve the black community?
I think we need to separate black folks from niggas.
Okay.
I think that niggas are the face of the black community. And niggas have no desire whatsoever to improve themselves in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They go with the worst ratchet gutter nigga behavior that you can possibly imagine. And it's just like if you look at certain cultures, like I look at this culture, well, they're good at math. I look at this culture, they're good at business. I look at this culture, they're good at this. We are, as black people, when people look at us on the outside looking in, they look at us as being really good at sports, entertainment, and nigga shit. And the nigga shit tends to stay in the headlines and get all of the props, and we embrace the nigga shit a lot. So I think that we need to make a collective effort to start calling out the nigga shit.
Okay.
And it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be ripping off the Band-Aid, but we got to separate the niggas from the black folks. And if you want to keep it a buck, that's what W.B. Du Bois was trying to do. That's what even Thurgood Marshall, not Thurgood, what's his name? You had W.B. Du Bois and Booker T. Washington was trying to do. They were trying to essentially, hey, we need to identify
Class.
who's who, create class. And it sucks, but the stereotypes and the characterizations, even from people that come over here from black countries to America, they don't want to be associated with black people because all they've been taught about was the niggas.
Well, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I saw this video the other day of this kid that went home to his Haitian parents and he had braids. And they lost they lost their minds.
Like that,
they don't they Haitians are very tight knit. Jamaicans, you're Jamaican, right?
Conservative.
Very conservative.
There's more conservative with Africans and Islanders. There's more
Because they're very
conservative.
religious.
Yeah.
And but when like my friend is, I grew up with a lot of people from Africa, and a lot of them they because everybody's so afraid to be shamed these days, they don't like to talk about it out loud. But a lot of their parents told them, like, I don't want you hanging around with that person. I don't want you hanging around with those niggas. Without even
your parents are.
Without even getting to know us, and then as time went on, as time evolved, we became, well, they're different. Well, no, we're actually the standard. We're the norm. It's just that the nigga shit
It's loud.
is loud. And we're taught to be quiet. We're taught to move in silence. We're taught to be humble. We have a religious foundation. So
humility can kill you and it can help you at the same time. Humility is a tricky thing.
It's crooked.
It's a tricky thing.
So I think it's a trick. I'm sorry. I think as soon as we can systematically separate black folks from the nigga shit, then we'll see a change. And then we need to start leaving them behind. Like, you have to leave people behind. If a person isn't ready to go, leave them behind. I think that our community, because we have suffered so much systemically, and there is a system of white supremacy that's just global. We can look this up, you guys, that has placed black people in some of the worst situations and has elevated other groups above black people at every instance. I think that once we can start saying that this person is choosing not to come with us, it's more comfortable over here, and every culture has people like that. Every culture has people like that. Some of the poorest people in America live in the mountain regions of West Virginia, right? All white people aren't rich.
Yeah.
I grew up in Pleasant Grove. We had poor white people, poor black people, and poor Mexicans was our community, right? So I've seen it, but we have this image that all white people are a certain kind of way. So we have to leave the people behind that don't want to come and go create for them so that when they finally see, because within our community, seeing is believing.
It's the only way in our community.
It's the only way.
The only way.
Easiest way to scam a black person is pull up in a nice car. Because me and you can have the answers, but we're in a Honda Civic.
Oh, fam, they don't want to hear that.
They don't want to hear that.
You gotta some kind of flash in our community for people to get it, or else they won't believe you.
They won't believe you, because that's what we've been taught wealth is. And I would say the last thing is to change the way we look at wealth. Rich is flashy, wealth is quiet. Some of the most wealthy people I know shop at Walmart. They live in your community. They're around you, but you'll never know it. I have two uncles, but one uncle who was a millionaire in the 80s.
Damn.
You hear me? and he died a millionaire.
You know how hard that was to be a millionaire in the 80s?
No one knew because he was really smart with his investments. He drove a nice Cadillac. He wore nice suits. But we just thought, he just had a little money because he worked for the post office. So he was a millionaire. When he died, I mean, the property that he lived in, it's in the community in Dallas right now where if they were to sell that property right now with no renovations and shitty condition, somebody would buy it for $1.2 million.
Damn.
Like, he was a millionaire.
Wow.
And so it's like, rich is flashy, wealth is quiet. You don't have to be seen all the time. That was me. I bought a new car every other year for 10 years. 18 years old buying new cars. Why? Imagine if I would have bought houses with that money.
Or some stocks.
If I would have, when I went back to college, there was this company called Amazon that could literally deliver you a book. If you needed a textbook, you went to this company called Amazon, and that's all they did. Imagine if I would have bought $30 stocks or $20 stocks back when Amazon was a book company. Man, I'd be a billionaire right now.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I'd at least have I'd be 100 million if I would have just bought so many stocks per paycheck.
Just kept on buying it.
Right?
20-some years ago.
Look what Amazon did. Bro, it was a bookstore when we were in college.
Bookstore.
And I'm not talking about years ago. I'm talking about 2008, 9. Now that's like yesterday.
Imagine $100,000 in Amazon stocks before 2007, 2008.
Bro, you be writing your own. You'd be like, stock millionaire bought the Mavericks. So we got to start looking at wealth different. Like, you got to grow money and not show money.
Got to grow money and not
show money. You can't be out there. That's the easiest way to get broke is trying to impress people. I was that guy, man. I was out there, buying up, throwing parties at clubs and buying bars and doing all this stuff, and I didn't have a thing to show for it.
Is there ever a good time to rent?
Rent?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is there ever a good time to rent if you don't have to?
If you don't have to, like meaning that you have the money?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what happens is, so I was that guy when I first came, and I was that shock factor guy. If you don't own real estate, you ain't shit. But as I got older, I realized that different people have different tax brackets. Different people have different issues. Like my sister makes really good money. She doesn't own any property, but my sister has 2 places. She has a place in Florida, and she has a place in Texas. She's doing better than the average, than 99% of the people.
Her 401k is probably maxed out, too.
She's doing her thing, right? Yeah. And even when my sister takes breaks from work. She's on a break right now. I'm just taking some time off. I'll be right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, you know what I'm saying?
Everyone has their own journey.
But my sister's not flashy. She's not wearing her. She loves to travel. Her definition of wealth is going to every continent. You know what I'm saying? And she's been to, I believe, every continent but 2, and Antarctica being one of them, right? And there's a trip that's going to be planned there.
Wow.
So her idea of wealth, understanding what wealth is to you, understanding that now me, Tim Jackson, it makes sense for me to, rent a $4,000 office or a $4,000. I paid $4,000 a month for my office building during COVID. Yeah. And people, why didn't you bankrupt it? Man, I need the tax write-off. You know what I'm saying? Those people driving those flashy cars, their money is different than us. So what we feel as being too extra, that might be a tax write-off. And I know that may sound contradictory because I say rich is flashy, wealth is quiet. But I know people who are wealthy who buy $200,000 cars and they only drive it once a month because they understand that it's going to retain its value. And, it's a tax write-off. Or they have a place in the city and they rent a place out here and they rent a place in this city. And it's like, why do you have 4 places to stay? I need the tax write-off. We do business in this state, so I need a resident in this state because I need to be able to write off for my state taxes because they have state taxes. There's so many different maneuvers. So you asked me this 5 years ago, I'd be like, that's the stupidest shit in the world. Now I'm like, that $3,000 a month lease ain't looking so bad because I'm paying in taxes.
Good stuff.
I've evolved.
Evolved Tim, y'all.
That's the weight, man. I lost the weight. I lost the anger, man. I used to be so mad at the world, man. I recently went to Alaska. And Dre, man, when I tell you, I was stationed in Alaska back in the early 2000s. And I just recently started talking about my experience there. But, man, I got done dirty, man, by the military, man. I was wrongfully discharged. And there was a stain on my record, and I felt humiliated because, a lot of my family went to the military, retired, and did a lot of time, and here I am. I got wrongfully discharged for something that I didn't do. And I came back to Dallas. I got a really good job, but I just couldn't live with the fact that happened to me, man. So I went through a process, a discharge review board, which literally has a 7-8% success rate. and I studied what they call the UCMJ, which is the military constitution. And I gathered all my paperwork, and my peers sent me all their paperwork, and I put together a case, and I got all that stuff reversed. Got all my benefits back, got all my entitlements back. That never happens.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. But this happened in 2005, 6. This is my first time ever talking about this on camera.
Yeah, I never knew that.
No one ever knew that about me. They just knew I was in the Air Force.
I knew you left. I didn't know.
Oh, because I was lying to motherfuckers. I was like, yeah, they was letting people out early and shit. I was embarrassed, man.
How long were you there for?
2 years.
Wow.
But this is so common. Like when you talk to black people, the Air Force came out, the military came out. I can't think of the terminology they used, but in 2008, 2009, they admitted that they disproportionately discharged black and brown soldiers and sailors at, it's like some crazy 10 times rate higher than everyone else. Whoa. Because you got to think about the people that are put in the positions to rule over you are people that come from places where they don't really fool with black people.
Yeah.
So I was embarrassed by that, man. And I didn't want people to look at me like, you know, I had to stay. When I would tell people in the military, like, yeah, man, I got kicked out. Before I could even finish telling them what happened, they would look at me like, ugh, get the fuck away from me. But then what happened was I started realizing that this has happened to so many people, specifically black people who were, you know, termed out or discharged, given a general or just moved out because they didn't want you there. And I said, I got to talk about this more because there's a lot of people who served their country honorably, and they were done a bad deal, and it impacts you from being able to get jobs. It impacts you from being able to get housing. Like those veteran benefits can make or break or change people's lives. Like literally the VA loan, not paying taxes in certain states. No down payment, nothing. Like it could literally make or break your life. But so many people are so ashamed, and they don't even know they qualify for this stuff because they're made to believe that, well, no, I got kicked out. No, you still qualify because you did.
Was your goal to be like a long time?
My goal was to retire and do 20 years. My goal was to join the military, do my 20 years and get out. And one of my good friends, my old roommate, just retired. That's why I went to Alaska. And that's my first time going back since I got kicked out. And I was told, you'll never be able to come back on this base. You'll never be able to go on the military base. You're going to go home and you're going to get killed or you're going to be in jail. Like this is how they talked to me as they're escorting me out the gate, telling me I wasn't going to be shit. And the truth was, I was smarter than everyone, man. I used to outscore everyone. I asked questions. I didn't understand, like in the military. You're not supposed to ask questions. You're supposed to go in and shut the fuck up and follow protocol. But I was always the person that questioned everything. And so I made a bad name for myself, and I put a target on my back because, you know, I would try to fix things. And one of my NCOs, a sergeant, he told me recently, he says, Tim, man, as much as I love you, I want to tell you something. He said that just world wasn't for you, man. Like the purpose was served. You met the right people. You got the right experience, but you were bigger than that. He said, that was for us. You know, he said, some of us that was our plight. And it doesn't make anything wrong because we're living a good life. We got a pension. Some of us have 100% disability. Got a lane, you know, he said, but that just wasn't your lane. And when he said that to me, man, it was like it was like peace came over me. Like, man, like I got the closure I needed. 21 years walking around with my fist clenched, mad at the world because there was a disservice done to me. So I literally used that fuel to become Tim Jackson, which is a great thing because I accomplished a lot. But what happens when I'm not mad? What happens when I don't have fuel that's rooted in anger? I retire for 3 years and I don't do anything, and I just, you know what I'm saying? Like I have no motivation whatsoever. And so going back up there, Dre, it was the most therapy. Like I healed.
It gave you closure.
Bro, I went up there with the mindset of, you know, that Martin episode when he went to his reunion. I went up there with the mindset of I'm about to show these motherfuckers. And so when I got off the plane, it was like a spirit came over me like, Tim, let that shit go. Like your life has grown exponentially 100 times since you were in here. You're doing amazing things. Like, why is it that you feel the need to prove something to a bunch of people that didn't like you? They didn't want what was best for you, and they got to celebrate your failure for a short time. But now they're watching your success, and they're definitely watching. They watching like a motherfucker, Dre. And I had to let that go. And since I've let that go, when I tell you, since I got back from Alaska 2 weeks ago, everything that I've spoken has happened because I'm not holding on. I can walk into, as much as I've accomplished, I ain't even hit the tip of the iceberg. I can walk into a new situation now knowing that I'm not the only person this happened to. I don't have to be perfect, but it's okay to heal and say, I can let go of that because look at me now. And bro, that's why I do what I do, man. This is my first time ever talking about this, you guys. But I understand how important, on camera, but I understand how important it is for us to tell our stories because there's people suffering in silence. And that's what I feel
need it.
I feel like the black community suffers in silence. You know, we stick to the code, where we get kicked in the ass all day long, and it's until we're broken down and we can't do anything that we finally say enough is enough, and by that time it's too late. Passed it off and played around. You didn't know that about me, huh?
Tim, I did not. I knew you left.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yeah.
You never.
I got railroaded, man.
You never went into detail about it.
I got railroaded.
Wow.
I got railroaded, bro. It was a stain, bro. It was embarrassing. And
is it like on your? Was it like on your?
Initially, they wrote it up to where it was like certain jobs. Like if I ever wanted to, let's just say I wanted to become a police officer.
Yeah.
Or I wanted to get in certain jobs. I couldn't get a security clearance. I had a security clearance in the military, but the way they wrote up my discharge, I couldn't get a security clearance.
Wow.
I couldn't become a police. If I wanted to become a police officer,
yeah,
I couldn't become a police officer. I'd always have to. In the military, they give you this thing called a DD form 214. Your Department of Defense 214. Every military person gets this form when they leave, and it tells essentially your whole military record. It's a 2-page form. They have a short form and a long form, and it tells what you were in for, when you got discharged, why you got discharged, and you want the honorable. And mine said other than honorable, and it had a bad characterization on it.
Wow.
So, when I would have to go look for a job, man, I'd have to show that. And I was able to finesse that because I'm just a good talker. So like the first job I got, I was like, yeah, we need the CDD form. So I was like, oh yeah, I got you, I'll bring it in. I never brought it in. And then I was like, hey, they asked me about it. I was like, oh yeah, I've already sent that to such and such. It should be on their desk. And then the person left the company and it just never got checked.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But think about how many people just can't get jobs because they check and they look at you like, oh, damn, you couldn't make it in the military. You can't make it out here. When the military is literally a structured thing that a lot of people can't make it in. It's just too structured. And to this day and age, they're struggling with numbers because these new kids are like, fuck all that.
Deal with that be yelled at from day one.
Yeah. And I'm pro-military. Like I know the importance of having a strong military. I would encourage any man or woman who needs discipline to go to the military. The benefits are unreal. They're unreal. Like my family can go to college for free. They're unreal benefits. But when you go in, you got to go in and shut the fuck up and eat shit and understand that there's a pecking order and you're a lower ranked and you need to stay in your lane. And I've never been a stay in my lane guy. I'm always swerving.
Oh, sitting sideways.
Man, boys in a daze, But we're not promoting that kind of music right now. No. So I know we've been here for a minute, Dre, man. I feel like this has been therapy, man. This whole trip to Atlanta has been a therapy session for me. From the time I got off the plane to the time we started this interview. But I want to ask you a question, man. 18-year-old Dre. I always use this analogy about Back to the Future. My favorite movie is Back to the Future, specifically Back to the Future 2. Biff gets in the time machine, DeLorean. He goes back to the past. He gives himself an almanac, a sports almanac with all the scores. He says, hey, dummy, I'm you from the future. Take this book. It'll change our life forever. He gets back in the car. He gets up there. He's a trillionaire. I mean, he's the most evil person in the world. He's the most richest person in the world. And they have to undo what he did. But Dre, today's Dre, gets into the DeLorean. We'll call it gets into the RX time machine, right? Because we Lexus guys.
Shout out to Lexus.
He goes back to 18-year-old Dre, who's just getting ready to venture into the adult life. Okay. You see him walking in the hallway. He looks up. He sees a person that looks very familiar, and it's you. And he says, hey, I'm you from the future. I want to tell you something that's going to change our life forever. What do you tell him?
I'm 18-year-old Dre.
No, you're Dre talking to 18-year-old Dre, yeah?
Avoid conflict.
Dive into that, because I'm such a conflict person. I love a good fight.
I used to have a temper, hence why I got thrown out of all these schools. And things could have easily went. We could have never met. We mean you could have easily never met.
Oh, I know. I got some of them stories too.
But it was around 18 when this thing happened in particular. So old me now would tell 18 me, avoid conflict, let it all go.
Woo, that's where I am now. Like I don't have any time. I will walk away from a conversation mid-sentence if it doesn't sit right in my soul. And I'll say, you know what, man, nothing but respect to you, but this isn't for me. I recently had some conflict. Like I'm closing out a lot of conflicts, you know.
Beautiful.
You know, because I had this chip on my shoulder and I was holding these grudges. And after Alaska, I'm just like, I can die tomorrow. This person can die tomorrow.
Alaska was healing, huh?
Alaska was like the most healing trip that I've ever taken in my life. When I tell you, like, going back to Alaska, bro, I only got 4 hours of sleep every night, but it felt like I was asleep for 12 hours every night because I was just so overwhelmed by driving around to the old places I used to go, seeing the old things I used to see, doing the old things I used to do, eating the old restaurants that I used to eat at, driving through the base that I was told I would never be able to drive through again, going on base, going to my old stomping grounds, just like taking it all in, but more so like being able to say like they tried to place me in, they tried to bury me, but they didn't realize that I was a seed, you know, and I grew out and I broke out and produced a lot of fruit. And so now I just don't know, like, I've reached out to some people that I feel like we were not on the right page because of whatever reason. I just, to bury the hatchet, like, man, you know, listen, life is too short. You know, if something were to happen to you or something were to happen to me, we would feel like shit knowing that we were tripping and beefing over this. And to the point to where I literally speak it, and if I don't call that person, they'll call me within a day. Like, hey, man.
Your frequency is
it's out there, man.
Right
it's out
now.
there.
Wow.
I mean, shit, look at your boy, man. And I know you on your way. Like, I can't wait to see Dre, because you started your juicing journey. I can't wait to see you 30 days. I'm going to send you that old picture of you.
Yeah, send it over. Send it over, man.
And you look great, by the way. Let me just put that on the record. You look great.
No, I appreciate it.
But I understand you have a goal.
I'm making progress, and I do acknowledge progress. I acknowledge every day of progress, right? I didn't go to the gym yesterday, but I was doing push-ups and arm curls in the house, right? So I acknowledge progress.
Yeah.
But I am looking forward to April, May, June. I am. I'm on some beach or some pool, some rooftop. It's on.
I'm on their ass, man. I'm talking about May, June, July, August. I'm going to be everywhere. No shirts, no shoes, no problem.
No shirt drag. I'm going to have a 12-pack.
Hey,
I'm going to skip a 6-pack. Let's go with 12.
Listen, I'm going to fail the 6-inch rule. You remember in school when they make you put your hands at girls? I'm going to have on my Hoochie Daddy show. I got a homeboy named Daniel. Shout out to my boy Daniel. We grew up together, man. Daniel's so fit. And I always used to see him wearing his little, he used to wear. He's a very fit guy, very masculine guy. He's like a colonel in the military. But he'd always wear those shorts. And I used to, inside, I'm like, man, I used to Rose, like, man, look at this dude with these little ass shorts on. But it's the confidence that it takes to put those on, and then the way you feel, knowing that you can fit them, and then the way you look.
And people treat you differently.
And it's typically fat people that's hating on you. I was fat as shit.
People treat you differently when you're in shape.
They do. Daniel is so well respected. And he's like always the only black person where he's at because of his rank and what he does, and he's so well respected, and he keeps his integrity. And this dude is like the king of the Hoochie Daddy shorts.
What was your body fat percentage, if you know it?
Like 40. I was 40% body fat.
My height was 33.
Yeah, I was at 40% body fat.
Yeah.
And so I haven't done it. I said I don't want to do it again until I hit 195.
Okay.
But I messed around and was playing around with it one day, and I know it's below 20. I know that for a fact.
Huge.
But
that's in half. You cut it in half.
Yeah, I know for a fact it's below 20.
Wow.
And so I did it. I just, how you pinch it, and then you look at the number, and I was like, so you'll do it 2 or 3 times. When you're fat, you do it 3 times. I can't be 40.
Yo, when I saw 33, I was like, no, like, do that shit again.
Yeah.
It was the machine where you hold that. I was like, no, we got to do that again. It was like, that's 3,300. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I bought the little clicker where you pinch you pinch either here, you can pinch your titty, or you pinch on your arm. And it was
I'm going to get one of those.
It's like $5 or $6 on Amazon.
Okay.
And so I did it again. I want to say it was like 20 or it was low. And I just did it once. I said, nah, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm not even supposed to be checking this. I just put it down. And so I just left it there. And but my goal was to get to, I want to get really lean. Like I'm doing boxing. I'm taking up boxing right now. I mean, my son, he's really good at it. He's really good at boxing, man. Like he's going to fight in a tournament next month.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're proud of him.
Oh, yeah.
You've always been. It shows.
He's me. The hardest thing to do is to discipline you out of your kids. But the things that I can't stand about my son is literally the things that I did as a child. And my mom has a front row seat to it. Like, Tim, he's you. He's exactly you. And I look back like, damn, he is. To the point where we have the same facial. He's just light skinned. He's just a little bit lighter. Like I sent a picture to him and I was like, look at this. He's like, my goodness, Dad, I look just like you. He's gonna be way taller than me because he's already tall. So he's gonna probably be like 6'3", 6'4". Okay. But and now he's boxing. He's got that long frame. He did his first little sparring match, and they were very impressed with him.
Shout out to him.
And so they said we really want to invest in him. So please keep bringing him back. But listen, man, I want to thank you so much, Dre. I know I probably dominate this conversation like always, and then you sprinkle in the nuggets that people need to hear. Where can we find you?
Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram, Andre C. Hatchett on Instagram, YouTube, Andre C. Hatchett as well. Hope you guys got some game from this.
That's right. Well, listen, man, it's your man, Tim Jackson. It's the No More OGs podcast. I want to thank you for tuning in. As always, go get the documentary, Tim Jackson Presents How to Kill a Black Man on Amazon Prime right now.
Yeah.
Prime Direct. That's right. You can rent it or you can buy it.
No, buy it. Don't even rent it.
Run your boy that bread. You know, it's going to take money to create change. We can't create change on hope. All right. I know President Obama gave us that hope, but man, hope does not pay the light bill. So I need that bread. Also, man, get the book, Real Dope, an in-depth comparison between real estate and the dope game. 100% of the proceeds go to Real Youth Mentoring. Shout out to Dre, who's been an avid supporter of the book and Real Youth Mentoring. And lastly, get the juicing book, Tim Jackson Presents 25 Easy Juices, guys. Health is wealth. You see me. Y'all see how good I look, man. I got on this jacket. It's an extra large, but I got on a sweatshirt, so it fits all right. But I love it, man. Owner Be On, this is my man's. I actually have that yellow Owner Be On shirt.
Oh, you still got that shirt?
And when I tell you, I've cleaned out my closet completely. And I said, I'm going to wear that shirt again.
Wow.
And so I think that I'm there. I think I can wear it now. Last time I wore that shirt was to Cuba in 2017.
I remember you were all over the world that year.
Yeah, man.
You was out.
I was out there. So
shout out to our man, too.
Yeah. But guys, give us a shout. Follow my man, Andre. Give us a shout at No More OGs. Follow us on all social media platforms. This is the Tim Jackson. This is Tim Jackson with No More OGs podcast. Guys, I'll see you soon.